Hello, everyone, and welcome to this partnership call. I hope you all had a good and healthy start to the new year. And I can just tell you that from the Mintlayer team, we have a super exciting roadmap for this year, and we are super pumped to get this started. And to kick things off, I'm pleased and pumped to have this partnership call today with Gabriele, who is the CEO of Forint Finance. And Forint Finance is a cross-chain swap and DEX project that allows on-ramping from fiat to crypto as well. And they have partnered up with us at Mintlayer. Welcome to the call, Gabriele.
Hi, Michael. Thank you very much for having me. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going good. Yeah. Pumped for this year, and starting January is cold, but a lot of things diving into, so it's super interesting from our end. How about yourself? The new year started well?
Yeah, started well. It's always a little bit slow to pick up things after the break because a lot of traditional businesses tend to slow down during this time while crypto never sleeps. So yeah, it's been good. We're in partnership, changing our products. We are looking forward. We'll speak about this later on. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Super good to hear, Gabriel. But yeah, before we start diving into the project and the partnership, I would like to hear more about your background and how you started getting involved with the blockchain space and crypto. So can you share your background story to us?
Yeah, my professional background has nothing to do with crypto, like a lot of other people. I've worked for pretty much all my professional life, all my adult life in the gambling industry. So I worked for 20 years in casinos, started at the very bottom and ended up head of department at a corporate level in head office for a medium to large size EMEA corporation. And then about a couple of years ago, like has happened to a lot of other people, I got bitten by the Web3 bug. Um, Met a couple of people, started to talk about Web3, started to understand how the blockchain worked, find it extremely fascinating. I mean, it's not going to be any different to a lot of other people in this world. You know, once you start hearing about it and understand the potential of it, it's just a rabbit hole. You know, you get sucked in and you start learning things. As the more you learn, the more you understand that you have a lot to learn, and the more you understand you're never going to learn everything. And it's a really interesting space with great potential, lots of interesting people, potential to actually change things for the better. Yeah, so I just got sucked in.
Yeah,
Left my job and started to do this full time.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing happened to me for like 5 years ago, just like starting trying to figure out what is this crypto space, what is Web3, what is Bitcoin, and just started diving in. And then before you know it, you're just sucked into this rabbit hole and just want to learn more and start playing around with it. And then it's get your passion, and now it's just full time. And yeah, I love every day. I guess the same with you, Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly the same. I was very lucky because I was thrown in the deep end because the people around me were actual developers. So I had a bunch of experts around me that could give me a crash course, you know. And every day you realize about yourself that you're learning more. But we started to talk about sidechain and subnets the other day, and I knew exactly what they were talking about. And without even realizing, you are getting knowledge. So my background has always been not particularly technical. It was always about, you know, managing teams and leadership and you know, business development. But you know, we're getting into the technical side of things kind of naturally, you know. So yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it, you know. And like everyone's listening to this, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's good to be around good people and learn from them as well. So you're in a lucky position. But yeah, thank you for sharing your background. Now we can like start to dive into foreign finance. And you're the CEO, and I guess you're also the one of the founders of the project. Can you just tell us about the company itself and the team behind it?
Yeah. So let me start by saying that I'm not actually one of the founders. I joined the company pretty earlier on, but I wasn't one of the original founders. The original founder is a guy called Giuliano, which is our blockchain developer, our main blockchain developer. The way I got involved is because from day one, Giuliano decided that this wasn't going to be a project just on DeFi, but it was going to be a registered company. So they wanted to create this registered company for various reasons. They decided to do it in the UK. I live in the UK. We know each other through common friends, or we met each other through common friends. So I helped them set up the company in the UK. And then once you set up the company in the UK, you help them open them a bank account, you help them finding an accountant, you help them with this, you help them with that. And then, slowly you are a part of the team. And then eventually they've asked me to become the CEO of the company. So we started back in at the beginning of 2021. We became a registered company in May 2021. And we started with the idea of promoting decentralized finance. So DeFi is a complex space. It's becoming easier and easier as time goes on, but there's a lot of barriers of entry. It's there's no lie to each other. It's not for everybody. It's not like downloading your Binance or your Crypto.com app and everything is relatively straightforward. So our objective was always to lower some of these barriers of entry. So we started, the project has evolved over time, and in the position that it is now is where we have this cross-chain swap protocol, which is it's not just a product on its own, but it's the main technology to then reach a final goal, which is the one to have a centralized exchange experience in a completely decentralized environment. So that's what we want to do. The reason why we went for the cross-chain protocol is because this is probably one of the main pain points. It is important for the user experience to be able to buy tokens from different blockchains without having to think, I am buying from this blockchain or that blockchain. And so we wanted to do this in a completely non-custodial way. We were, I wouldn't say prophets, but we always saw that some problems with centralized exchanges were going to happen sooner or later. This was way before FTX and all this kind of stuff. So this is what we do. So we are developing a product slowly, one at a time. We're going to have a new version that is going to be fairly different to what we have now coming up at the end of the month. And yeah, so cross-chain swap, fiat implementation, lower barriers of entry. It's a long-term project. We're not, we've been here for a while, and we're going to be here for a while. Keep building and developing until we get to a point where we have enough pieces together to be able to set up a final product.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Really interesting to hear about how your approach to this project, how you're going to change it, because as you briefly mentioned, maybe you can explain a bit more about kind of what problems does foreign finance solve in today's crypto space? Like where can you see the challenges today that you're going to fix?
Yeah, well, the problem is simple. So cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin to start, it was always born to be decentralized. So it was always born to have no middleman, no control, being a system where it's transparent. We all know this. Now, unfortunately, for a practical reason more than anything else, we moved to a situation where centralized exchanges have this humongous control, and they basically dictate some of the rules. It becomes difficult to operate in a decentralized way without going through an exchange. So we just want to go back to its origin, and trying to stay true to the way cryptocurrency was supposed to work. Now, we're not extremely idealistic. We don't think that complete decentralization is probably going to work, but a 2.5 approach, a Web 2.5 approach instead of Web 3 might be the way forward, but we're going to try and make it as decentralized as possible. Centralized exchanges work, so there isn't a problem per se that we're trying to solve, but the problem is that they fail sometimes, and when they fail, they're big, and they make noise, and people lose money, people lose faith in the system. So I think they were a necessary evil. They probably will be a necessary evil for a while longer. But I think that if we all try and go towards a world where they're not necessary anymore, I think is the best way for everybody. And Binance itself says that they will move into a decentralized environment at some point. So I think there's the whole Web3 space wants to go back and move that way. So this is the problem that we're trying to address. In terms of pain points for the company itself and what we're doing, this is a ever-changing space. So what was true 3 weeks ago is not necessarily true today. So it always feels like you're playing catch up, and you want to provide value. You don't want to be here just building for the sake of building. You want to be able to provide value to your users, to your partners, and sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to catch up, to be able to explain your vision to other people, to get other people to buy into your vision, and to just go on with what the plan was. Our plan have changed over time, and I assume that although the vision is always the same, although we always want to lower barriers of entry on DeFi, that's never going to change because it's part of our DNA. The execution and the way we're going to go about it might change again, and it's for the man with a plan like me, sometimes a bit painful, but it is what it is. It's part of this space, I guess, and it's also what makes it so interesting and fascinating.
Yeah, I totally agree, because you have to adapt to the current situation in the blockchain space. So you cannot just have an idea or a roadmap exactly for the next 2 years and just follow it point by point, because things change. So there might be some point that just not necessary in the future, because there's already another approach to it at that point. So I agree with you that you have to adapt.
2 years is a long time in crypto.
Exactly. But we can go to the point where you might be able to tell us more about the product or products you have at Forint Finance at this moment, at the current state, and also what kind of project you might integrate or build in the future as well for Forint Finance.
Yeah, so we have our core product is called Swappy. Don't blame me for the name; I didn't choose it. It's a cross-chain swapping protocol. It's on its second version, so it's on V2. V1 was a little bit rubbish, I have to be honest with you, but you have to go through the rubbish one to get to the good ones. We had a fairly high error rate. With V2, we had a much lower error rate. I think we are on 0.2% now, which is extremely low and perfectly acceptable. And I don't want to talk too much about that one, simply because at the end of the month, we're going to have a V3 coming, which is going to be very different, not just in the way it looks, but in the way it works. In the past, we always used our liquidity between wallets and blockchains to create the swaps. This one is going to be integrated with multi-chain in order to facilitate some of the swaps, as well as using our own liquidity. So we have a hybrid system. Plus, we're going to have different kind of fiat integration on ramp, which we do have already, but it's a little bit clunky with the provider that we're using now. So it's the flow, the transaction is going to be a lot smoother from a user perspective. They will just literally put their credit card or debit card details or do a bank transfer, and then they will receive exactly what they've asked for. While now it's a little bit more complex, let's say it that way. So yeah, we're very excited for the new one that is coming. The way also, one of the other things that we do is that we contact projects individually, small cap, big cap, medium cap, it doesn't matter, and we create cross-chain apps for them. So there are the app that they can be on the web, because it's just a link, so people can use it in Telegram, Discord, website, or they can put an iframe on the website. And we also create an Android app that goes on the Google Play Store, and people can just download and buy just the coin of that protocol, but from fiat and another 150 assets. And this is something that we're gonna keep up. And in order to do that, we also give part of our profit back to the project, because we don't charge the project for this. We charge a percentage to the user that does the cross-chain swap. And then some of those funds go back to the project in order to support them. Some of them go to us, and then there's always the gas fee that have to be paid. Other than that, we are still building in order to look for the bigger picture. So, which is the one to have checks-like experience, but we're still a little bit far away from a complete package, but we hope that we're gonna get that perhaps by the end of the year.
Yeah, very interesting to hear. Thank you for sharing the details and plans of foreign finance. Yeah, really interesting. Maybe you can now advise us about your choice to integrate with Mintlayer protocol and kind of what the benefit it brings to you and your users.
Yeah, so there's few reasons, but I can divide them in two sets. So the first one is the just the technical advantage, of the project itself. So I think we operate in a EVM space, so Ethereum virtual machine, blockchain, and space, and we are very familiar with it. Having said that, everyone who's into crypto and tries to avoid Bitcoin is here for a rude awakening, I believe. So in order to be able to integrate the ecosystem of Bitcoin into our offering, I mean, it's not simple. It's always been quite complicated. But the solution that is offered by Mintlayer is particularly suitable for our communication interoperability between blockchains. So it's probably the most efficient way that we have found so far in order to be able to bridge to the Bitcoin blockchain, and that's the overarching reason for the project. Then there is also, the ability to be able to offer our users, our community, atomic swaps, which is something that we don't have in our current setup. And it's an extra offering that allows the peer-to-peer instead of just interfacing with liquidity pools. So that is interesting for us. And then there is some of the. I'm going to go a little bit more deep now, but some of the controls that you have about the access control list we find quite interesting. To protect our token holders. So there's lots of it that my CTO, our founders are particularly excited about, and that's one aspect. Then there is the other aspect that really is more my bag, which is the fact that I met Enrico first, then I met you, and it's the human part. It's as much as you can find a project exciting, if you don't find the people behind the capable, honest, interesting, then you're not gonna want to make the marriage of the partnership. So when I'm trying not to say too many nice things about Enrico, because next time I see him, he might give me a bit of a dressing down. But we go along really well. I find him a guy extremely prepared. I probably, when we first met, I learned more about those 3 hours that we spent together about Bitcoin that I had in the last 3 weeks. extremely capable, extremely driven, clear vision, clear mission. The way is describing the scalability of the Mintlayer protocol to me makes extreme sense. And then we met briefly in first via Zoom, then we met in Lisbon in person. To me, that part is important. So at the end of the day, when you have an extremely valid product that marries particularly well with what we're trying to do, coupled with people that we get along with and we find honest, interesting, and capable, what's not to like, really? And I think that this feeling is gonna go on with a lot of the partners that you're gonna encounter going forward. Now you're gonna tell me, no, you're wrong. People hate us when they meet us, but
No, thank you so much for the kind words. I'll definitely send it over to Enrico as well. I'm sure he's gonna listen to this one, so he might give you a call later today. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The value proposition we have at Mintlayer, especially like with the original native Bitcoin and the atomic swaps and everything, that is brilliant. I'm sorry the light just went out here. But yeah, before I'll let you go, I just have like one more question for you. Like, it's more like, as you know, Mintlayer, we are very much Bitcoin focused. So let me hear your personal opinion about what is Bitcoin and what is crypto, and like what is your opinion in the space of Bitcoin?
I'm gonna tell you a very short story. So last night I went out. It's something that I don't do very often because I have 3 children and 3 very young children, and it's very rare for me to get a night out with my friends. So I went out with 2 ex-colleagues. One of them is heavily into crypto. The other one believes that it's an absolute ridiculous thing. So we spent a good hour talking about it. And every time we were trying to talk about cryptocurrency, we were just going back to Bitcoin, because it's where it all started, and what still makes more sense to people as a commodity, as a cryptocurrency. So my thoughts are that it's just never gonna go away, Bitcoin in itself. Definitely the blockchain as a technology is not gonna go away. That's a fact. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that it was going to change the way we look at finance and transfer and storing value. Whether it's going to revolutionize every aspect of our society the way a lot of people believe, I'm not that sure. I think the blockchain does have the potential to change a lot of the way we interact with each other on the internet and the way we exchange value. But yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question, because it's a very complex question. I could tell you lots of things about what I think about Bitcoin, but I just think it's not gonna go away anytime soon. And I don't want to make a prediction on price, like a crazy one that I made last night with my mate, but I just said, we go back when what Bitcoin is gonna buy a 4-bed detached house. At that point, I hope you're gonna believe that this is real. But and I think it's gonna be in our lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. I think we are at the same opinion that Bitcoin is the truly decentralized and the strongest coin out there, of course. But what happened in the crypto space with the DeFi is quite amazing as well. So that again, that's also why we want to combine in Mintlayer the Bitcoin security and all the amazing thing that DeFi can bring, and that's how it's gonna change the world in the future. I'm definitely sure about that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, Gabriele. Is there anything last words you want to say, or anything we have forgotten to talk about?
No, I don't think so. Just want to thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope we'll make more of this. Maybe next time I can host you my site. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Yeah, and everybody out there, feel free to join the Telegram group and the YouTube channel. And keep an eye on. We'll have an exciting year ahead at Mintlayer. So keep in touch and talk to you next time. Thank you, Gabriele. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.